What's up, Moose Knuckles? JJ back here. It's time to give you a free play for Saturday, May 18th. It's going to be the Nationals versus the Cubs. Steven Strasburg versus John Lester. Seeing the line right now, Nationals minus 133. Total is 8.5 with a little extra vig on the under. So my dad gave you guys a free play or two free plays last night with Houston first five in game. Told you to grab your balls and bet them. He pushed the first five, won the game. I gave you under first five Seattle, which lost in the fifth. Tough pill to swallow there, as the game itself went under 9 over the first half, but it did go under 9. Regardless, still loved that spot. I told you all that public money would drive that up to 9. When I did the video, it was 8.5. But sharp money would definitely keep it under 9.5. Remember, folks, do your best to have the foresight of the market. This isn't just a betting sides and totals. What can you do to get yourself the best number in any and all scenarios. Long term, it'll only help you. Now, both teams had degraded lineups. The starting pitchers really controlled the home run ball, as I said they should. But Seattle's fielding woes added a few runs there, which really made the difference. Regardless, this moves the channel to 26 and 13 with the 1-1-1 split between my dad and I. Now, the game here will sound almost like a broken record. We had a recent bet with the Cubs and Nationals separately over the last week or so. As you guys know, I'm always staying in my lane with teams that I bet frequently. Here's the angle. It's going to be first five under 4.5 minus 115. I get it, a near identical play to last night, but it will be for the exact same reasons as last night. What you see far too often is like a play won't work out the way someone thinks, or a handicapper thinks, or a tout thinks, whatever dumbass words you guys use to refer to people that bet sports. What happens is that a game like that happens and they just throw out the process entirely. Like a game like that will lose and they're like, oh, it was the wrong play or whatever. Remember, the process is what matters long term, not the short term results. Here is another favorable spot. The under, sitting at 8.5 with some juice on it, means we'll get 4.5 at a decent price here. Again, I'm seeing minus 115. You might get minus 110, minus 120. Either way, I do like it under 4.5 here. Here's why I'm on the first five, only under here. Now, John Lester, as we know, has had a tremendous year thus far, at least based on his ERA anyway. His ERA is 1.16. His advanced numbers of FIP and XFIP are in the subs 2s and 3s. His SIERA is 3.65. So while the 1.16 ERA is unsustainable, regression is not going to come in a major way. I will say his 90% runner left on base percentage, is at some point that's going to come back to bite him. Now he is the type of pitcher that does get a lot of double play balls, so that might be playing into it, but again, 90% is still way too high to be sustainable long term. Now, Steven Strasburg's ERA is 3.63. His advanced numbers say he's even better than that, though. His FIP and XFIP, both in the 2s. His SIERA is lower than his ERA at 3.04, so he has been a bit unluckier than his robust ERA at 3.63 states. For those into BVP, John Lester has a decent track against the Nationals, but the bulk of that track is from Howie Kendrick and Kurt Suzuki. Making up about 40% of those at-bats. Most of those at-bats are from when he was pitching for the Red Sox. Not a true large sample size recently, though, but he did get rocked last year on his lone start against the Nationals. But the thing is that start came in the middle of him struggling mightily after the All-Star break. You'll see that, as I always tell you, streaks are certainly a thing in baseball. He was pitching like shit last year post All-Star break, and this year, at least to start the year, he's pitching a lot better. He does typically start better than he ends in most of his seasons anyway. Now, Strasburg has mediocre numbers versus the Cubs in about 100 at-bats, but again, we have another situation where nearly 40% of them are coming from one player, in this case, Jason Hayward. In his last three starts, in his last 3 years versus the Cubs, Strasburg holds a 2.29 ERA. Obviously, both teams' bats are lively here. Both teams have a bunch of big hitters, and they're hitting the ball pretty well recently. So I won't go into the ins and outs there on matchups and exacts. But look, two good arms here with a number that appears a full run too high for the entire game, which makes the first five even more favorable. Now, both teams don't have the best bullpen, so that's not something. There's another situation like yesterday where I don't want this game falling into the bullpen's hands, and I lose it late instead of going the total. Now that's why, I know yesterday, kind of backfired where the game went under, but the first five went over. But again, you gotta stay consistent with the process. The bullpens for both those teams sucked. It's kind of a shame that it ended out that way. But this way, I'm going with the same thing again. We have a game last night where runs piled on late because of bad bullpens. There's a lot of home runs in the heat in Washington. And I know that the first, 5 went over of this game with two better arms, but it was a lower total yesterday, so keep that in mind as well. this is a sport built with mountains of variance. You need to be able to find value where you can after markets over adjust to recency bias. Here is another one of those spots. So again, it's going to be first 5 under 4.5. Nationals versus the Cubs, Steven Strasburg versus John Lester. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, as always, thumbs up. If you did not enjoy the video, I hope you get waterboarded. As always, drop comments below. I appreciate them, and I always respond. If you have any questions on the games tonight, or even if you just want to say hello or tell me who you're betting, of course, I always appreciate it. I'll be back later tonight or tomorrow with our weekly Sunday Night Baseball play, which is 4-0 to date. I will see you guys then.